Most High God, please block anybody trying to interfere with this reading and this video. Do step in and deliver us. Deliver us. Interesting. Deliver us, Lord. Yeah. Deliver us from evil and deliver your messages to we, your children. Very interesting. Ah, yes. How many people out there get frightened every time I come on to do a reading? Hmm? Why are you scared? You don't want to hear God speak? You don't want to hear the real game master speak, the real rule maker, the real mover and shaker of the universe. You don't want to hear God speak to know exactly what is what and what is not. Y'all prefer to go around life just bumping your head into every wall because of darkness, ignorance. The people perish for a lack of knowledge. You perish for a lack of knowledge. And then who can you blame? God send you wisdom, God send you an angel. You run the angel away and then you say life is so horrible and life is so unfair. God delivered you a blessing and you sent it back. Or you ignored it. Or you tried to destroy it. God be using us to bless each other. And yet we try to destroy each other. Or we ignore each other. Or we use and abuse each other. And then we say life is so unfair. We say God don't exist. So what is true in that scenario? God say, how can you say you love me whom you have never seen, yet you don't love your brothers and sisters who you have seen, and you see them on a daily basis? You think that God is going to come itself every time to deliver its messages to us or to bless us? When God do come to us itself through our dreams, through that little soft voice that you hear, you ignore God. So when God come, you ignore God, and when God sends somebody, you ignore them. You try stone them to death because you don't like the truth that they bring, because the truth that they bring, it disrupts what you got going on. So what do you really want? Do you just want to complain? What do you want? Do you want therapy? I feel like a lot of the reason why people ignore God is because y'all don't understand God. Y'all listen to these religious people teach you about God, and their idea of God is a whole bunch of restrictions. That's their idea of God. A whole bunch of don't do this and don't do that and don't go here and don't go there and don't, and they take all the pleasures out of life. Because y'all choose not to get to know God for yourself. You choose not to build a relationship with God for yourself. You choose to try and learn God from other people. That's why y'all run from God so. That's why y'all reject God so much, because y'all don't know what God truly wants and what God don't want. You never took the time to find out. Y'all listen to the preachers. Y'all listen to the imams. Y'all listen to your grandparents who listen to the preachers and the imams and the Buddhists and whoever else have a twisted, warped idea of what God's do's and don'ts are. And you apply those rules to yourself. And you probably tried it and found it's very draining, it's very restrictive, it's very boring. And so you turn away from God itself, never thinking, I should try and talk to God myself. Because the said people make us afraid to ask questions. So a lot of us end up believing without understanding. God wants us to have a personal relationship with God. Whatever God you praise, God wants you to have a personal relationship so God could tell you what its do's and don'ts are for your life. Morality is not a one size fits all. Religion is not a one size fits all. Spirituality is not a one size fits all. Because what may be good for you is not good for me. What may be good for me is not good for you. We're not all built the same. We need to be true to ourselves and stop being true to the opinions of others. Know thyself and the God that governs you. Stop wanting to fit in. Stop wanting to make yourself look like a model Christian or a model Rasta or a model Muslim or what is the model based off of? Who has set the dimensions, the spiritual dimensions of the model of these religions and spiritual paths, moral codes, philosophical understandings? Who set them? All religions. I'm talking about all religions. Buddhists, you too. There's deception in every religion. There's misinterpretation in every religion. This is not a one-size-fits-all business. It's a personal relationship. It's a personal journey, personal development, personal growth. Personal being the operative word here. People don't have to understand you and they don't have to like you. You have to understand yourself and you have to like yourself. And the God in you, y'all have to be in alignment. As long as you and your God are in alignment, nobody else's opinion matter. The golden rule is don't hurt yourself and don't hurt other people. But when you live your moral, your religious, your spiritual truth, if you're a person who tap into your own God, if you're on that path, you end up hurting other people. But when you come off your path, you end up hurting yourself. So how do you find the balance between those two energies? Would you prefer to hurt yourself and make them happy, or you prefer to hurt them and make yourself and your God happy? Because if you're making yourself and your God happy, that means you are the light. If God is happy with you, who else's opinion matter? Isn't God the giver and taker of life? Isn't God the sustainer of life? These people can't save themselves if God don't save them. They can't save you if God don't give them the power to save them, the power and the wisdom. So who's most important to please in this equation? It's God. We need to stop making our lives about other people. You need to know when to be selfish. And when to be selfless. If you use those two powers responsibly and correctly, you'll be all right. Because we are here to be the teachers to each other. And if you're not learning those genuine lessons, you cannot teach them. If God has shown you the light, you would do right by yourself and everyone who has been called to be blessed by your light. And you'll be rewarded, because usually carrying the light is hard. There are a lot of people out there who are benefiting from the darkness and they want to keep it that way. So carrying the light becomes hard. They want to destroy you for carrying the light. In order to destroy the light in you, they try to destroy you. They try to put you in fear, poverty, litigations, court proceedings, all type of thing they use just to try to discourage you from standing strong in the light. And these are a lot of people who call themselves Christians and Rastas and Buddhists and Muslims and whatever else they be calling themselves. They do it all in the name of God and whatever religion they are. It's lies. It's all about the money. They need to keep people deceived so that they maintain power, control over others, and thereby having your money. You have to be wary and aware of false prophets. Religion is a personal thing. Your walk with God is a personal thing. It always has been and it always will be. Don't let nobody define God for you. We can learn a thing or two from other people, But when you try to use their understanding of God and apply it to your life, you're going to always find yourself in difficulty because you don't believe in everything that they believe in, and not everything that works for them work for you. How can God reach people in the club if you never take your godly self to the club? God is not looking for perfection. God is not looking for perfection, but God is here to save sinners. Yes or no? So how can you help to save someone whose soul is lost if you're not where they're at? If you like going to the club and you're a God woman or a God man, go to the club. You're needed there. You never know what might be happening there. You will be the one to stop whatever it is or cause something positive to happen because you go with positive energy. How can God use you if you're not where you're supposed to be? Because you're trying to live a life to please someone else. You don't want them to call you backslider. Backslider from what? God's people are everywhere. God's people belong everywhere, doing everything. Even in the bombing of nations, God's people belong in the midst of those people who are doing that, to be the voice of reason, to be the God example, to be the voice of God. How are God going to get through to those sinners if none of God's angels, none of God's servants want to be in there? If you are called to be around those people, go. You are needed at your post. You don't have to worry about how people see you. They don't know your heart. God sees our heart, and God knows our heart. God knows our intentions. This world is as messy as it is because God's people are not where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to do. God said, be in the world, just not of it. So that means you can be amongst these people. Don't be like these people because you are the shining example. God said, I'm going to teach you some things. And by you just being who I've taught you to be, you're going to be a shining example to other people who are lost. That's how this thing works. You don't have to go out and try to sell God to anybody. You just have to be God. Be your God self, not somebody else's God self. If you feel like wearing a pom-pom shorts, put on your pom-pom shorts with your God self. Because you may look like the Jezebel, but when people dare speak to you, you will shift their whole perspective so that they stop judging people by how they dress. If you are a sagging pants wearing, fucking Timberland boots wearing man, put on your sagging pants and your godhood and go out. When they see you, they can judge you as though you're one of them street dudes. But when they talk to you, when they have an encounter with you, they'll know you're a man of principle, a man of manners, a man of reason, a man of God. Be yourself. Be the self that God has called you to be. If you are a jacket and tie wearing man or a three-piece suit wearing woman, put on your clothes and go represent your God self where you supposed to be. God need us in position so God can get through to the people that God are trying to get through to, which are the lost souls, aka sinners. God didn't call us for us to lock ourselves away and make ourselves feel like, oh, I'm better than them. We're here to pull each other up. And we can only do so by being around people. We can only do so by being seen by the right people. So we can be that example. Like me coming here. I look how I look. But do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? I look like a Jezebel. But I talk like God. And I think like God. And I move like God. But I look sexy like a Jezebel. Because I am every woman. I am a godly Jezebel. You're safe with me. A Jezebel, you're not safe with them. They need help. Those are some of the lost souls. Are you getting what I'm saying to you? Let God use you. You didn't learn and grow for you to keep it all to yourself. Your brothers and sisters out there, your fellow human beings, they need help. The same way that they use one Jezebel and one, what do they call the male version of that? One gigolo, or whatever you call the male version, to infect the masses is the same way God need to use the righteous to infect the masses. So now they've seen both sides. They get to choose. Now that people have seen both sides, because they've seen you in your godhood and they've seen the Jezebel and them in their devilishness, now you get to choose. That's fair. But if we just allow the Jezebels and the gigolos to be going around and spreading their fucking psychological cancer everywhere, then we leave the people without another option. That's not fair. They need to be able to see both pathways and then choose. Those who love the darkness, they will follow the darkness. And those who respect the light, they're going to follow the light. But if they never get to see the light, how are they going to know that the light exists? The light is in you. When you choose to be the version of you that God has called you to be and not be infected by the opinions of your pastor and your imam and your high priest or your high priestess or your master, your Buddhist master, whatever they call themselves. Nobody has all of the answers. Nobody. I know people like to act like they do. Especially these religious people. They like to act like they already got it all figured out. Yet look at the fucking world. So while you're over there with your pretty prissy self, your godly self, claiming that you got it all figured out, why is the world as fucked up as it is? Your pretty prissy God self, your honorable deacon self, your apostle so and so, your father so and your mother so and so. God didn't come here to condemn anyone. God came to save the world. If God did come to condemn the world, you see what happened in Venezuela and wherever they got these floods and these tsunamis and all these heat waves. You think, listen, God could finish off anybody that God want to finish off. You know, see, it's nature that has been taking lives over the last couple of about month or 2 months or however long. Nature been on the rampage, tornado after tornado, earthquake after earthquake. If God wanted you dead, you'd have been dead. Heat wave after heat wave. Flood after flood, tsunami after tsunami. If God wanted you dead, you'd be dead. And I always tell you people, God don't need to make a natural disaster to kill anybody. You can choke on your very food that you're eating. Anything can happen to us. If God wanted us dead, we'd be dead. God didn't come to condemn. God came to save. There's no reason to fear God. There's every reason to respect, love, and get to know God. Stop making these people sell you their version of God. Because it's a turn off. The way that they see God and they want people to live God is a turn off. If I was to follow this Rastafarian tradition the way that they taught me to a T, I wouldn't like myself right now. I had to find the strength in me to go against what they taught me because it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to my life. I stopped dancing because I thought that that was an abomination and I got sick and dancing saved my life. It can't be an abomination. That's self-healing, that's naturopathy. That can't be an abomination. So I started winding up my ass again and have fun doing it because it's healthy. It promotes health, physical health. I stopped wearing sexy clothes and shoes because I thought I found God and I thought that sexy clothes and shoes were an abomination to God. So I throw away all of them and just used to wear big t-shirts and long skirt. Because that's how Rastafarians dress, so that's how I was taught. And then I realized I'm taking care of myself this good. And I look this good. And these evil people out there, they look good too. But I look good and I got God in me. Why am I hiding what goodness God has done for me? How are people going to know what eating more vegetables and fruits and exercising and all these things doing for the body? I needed people to see the glory of the Lord on me. I can't do that in a whole bunch of clothes all covered up from head to toe. I'm here to sell God through myself, through my own example, without telling people, without forcing God on anybody. I'm a walking package for God. And only talking to people when I'm called to do so. I'm a representative of God here on earth. So that's why I try to live to my best ability how God want me to live, so that I could be manifested to the best of my ability how God want me to look, spiritually and physically, so that when people see me, they see as much of a representation of God as I could have managed based on my discipline and my desire for God and my understanding of God. Shit, who don't like my representation of God? You don't have to like it. You're not built like that. Be the representation of God that you want to be. Because I'm the same girl that like the headpieces cover up my whole locks like I'm a nun. That girl too. And I'm happy being that girl too. But you see when I dress like that? When I dress like that, I'm on a different mission. You see me? When I dress like that, my God would turn up. When you see me dressed like this, I'm in a playful state. When you see me dressed in my full Rasta gear, we didn't come to play. That's my uniform. That's my official uniform. Okay? I didn't come for you to look at my body. I come for you to listen to the words that are coming out my mouth. Do not be distracted by anything else. I'm on the Lord's mission. That's me. But when everything is fine and dandy, yeah, I'll present myself like this. If you want to be caught up on the sexiness, be caught up on the sexiness. But those who have an ear to hear, they're hearing what I'm saying, even though they might enjoy the vision. Even though they like what they see, they're hearing what I'm hearing. They're hearing what I'm saying. You see, if God want me to go talk to some of them people that be bombing people and doing all them kind of major crimes, that's when you see me dress up in my full Rasta gear. Don't fuck with me. I didn't come to fuck with you. I come to give you a message that God give me to give you. Try something if you think you're bad. Could you imagine the type of protection that's going to be around me? And I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about energetic, heavenly protection. Y'all need to stop pretending that I am not who I say I am for your own good. For your own good. Try something. See what God and the angel them do with you. Try something. See what nature do with you. That's my backup. That's who I work for. That's who I represent. That's why you don't see me with a whole bunch of people around me. I don't need people. The level of fight that I'm up against, because when you take on the Lord as your Lord and Savior, all of the Lord's enemies become your enemies. So the kind of level of fight that I'm up against, people can't save me. Most of y'all are scared of Babylon. I can't look to y'all for protection. I already know that. That's why you don't see a whole bunch of people around me. But just know that everything around me protects me. I'm protected by a whole bunch of unseen. My protection system is very intricate. That's the type of protection you get when you walk in the path that God called you to walk. Because when you carry the light, the children of darkness will come after you to try and get you to drop the light or betray the light. What is the light? Truth. Understanding. And it just so happens that truth and understanding automatically go against how the system is set up. That's where the problem comes in. It's not that you're deliberately going after the system, but they set their system in a way that is completely contrary to how God desires the system to be. So for us to represent God, we automatically oppose the system. Automatic. That's why when you try to do the things that God has called you to do, you get a fight. Because the children of darkness, they do not respect the light. So the light need to stand up and fight by not giving in to the darkness, or else you'll never win. That before we dishonor God. And I'm not saying all this because I'm here to fight against Babylon directly. They're collateral damage. I'm here to save God's people. That's my priority. Those who want to understand God, those who want to understand living for God for real, I'm here for those people to give them a chance at the knowledge, because the people will perish for a lack of true knowledge. I'm here for y'all. I'm not here to destroy any systems. I'm here to bless those who deserve to be blessed. And it just so happened that it's automatic that by me blessing who deserve to be blessed, it goes against what the system stands for and how the system is built. That's why I'm not doing more to fight against the system, because the system is not my concern. The people are my concern. If you can get things right in your mind and in your heart and in your soul, you'll be untouchable like me. The system won't affect you, and you will not bow to the system. And like I say, if you feel like going to the club, you take your God self to the club so that you can link up, whether knowingly or unknowingly, with who is in the club that God wants you to make a difference to. God didn't come to condemn. God come to save. And God saved other people through us. God saves our fellow man through us. Just think about you and your journey. Who was that shining light? Who brought that light to you? Whose words or actions were you inspired by? That's how God does it. So if you're not living your truth, then you can't be that inspiration to those who are ordained to be inspired by your example. If that person who brought you the light was not being who they were called to be, you would not have received the light. So you're not meant to hide your light under a bushel. You're meant to pray for courage and protection. You're meant to pray for strength and faith. You're meant to let God know that you know that this is not your fight. You are collateral damage in the war, the age-old war between good and evil. I'm collateral damage. I'm the middleman because I'm a representation of God on earth, dealing with these governments and these movers and shakers of society. I just got caught up in there because when you live for God, God's enemies automatically become your own. And that's why the Bible says the battle is not yours, it's the Lord's. These people don't hate me. These people hate who I represent and what I represent. Because what I represent is the direct opposite of what they are about. They are the Antichrist. I am for Christ. They're against Christ and I am for Christ. That's opposite sides of the same coin. Or something like that. Because these same people who are so evil, they got good in them too. So they're not really opposite sides of the same coin. Because it's like you can never reconcile the two sides of the coin. So I don't want to use that example. Yeah, you hear that? that's an agreement. Yeah. That's how nature be talking to me. Because that was a big one right there. Opposite sides of the same coin, no. Because you can't ever get both sides of the coin, to be present at the same time. But the truth is, these evil people, they have the ability to do good just as present as their ability to do evil. They just choose to do evil. So I don't want to put it in your mind that good and evil are so far apart. The side of good and the side of evil that we can never reconcile our differences. We can. They choose not to. Because they think they're better than me. They think they're more powerful than me because there's more of them than there are of me and people like myself. Yet still, I am one. And it's been 18 years that they've been trying to take me down and they're still failing. Because I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Because I wasn't afraid to lose anybody. The people who I lost in my life because I chose to follow Christ, they chose not to be a part of my life. And they showed me over and over again by treating me terribly. Until I finally decided to agree with them. In opposition, because, okay, you treating me bad, then that means I don't belong around you. Years and years and years I've been reconciling with these people, and years and years and years they keep trying to do bad by me. Because the evil people, they use your family against you when they try to put out your light. They use your closest one, your family, your friends, your children, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your teacher, your mentor, your boss, anybody that's close to you. That's who they use to try and put your light out. Walking in the light of God is not something for the weak of heart. Yet is the most rewarding. Because even though I don't have no physical money, I'm a rich bitch. All my needs are taken care of. Because the enemy don't want me to have no physical money because they thought that that would stop me. But God has proven to me, I am your provider. And then when I was sick, he was my healer. Thank you, Jesus. And when I didn't have to place, what you say? And when I didn't have a place to stay, he was my shelter. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, that Kirk Franklin song, powerful. It says, Jesus, you are my joy within. That one. I say Negus, because Negus is Emperor Haile Selassie. That's my God. Negus, you are my joy within. Yeah. God can. I can't, but God can. You can't, but your God can. your God can. You can't, but your God can. God is the greatest thing to ever happen to us, bro. Yeah. Represent for your God like me. I'm telling you. Don't let people's misconception of your God make you stop loving your God. Get to know your God. Let your God tell you if you're doing something that is wrong. Don't let these people define wrong for you. They'll drain all the fun out of life, bruv. They'll make you hate religion. They'll make you hate spiritual path. They'll make you hate seeking the truth. So not only do you have the government and them these antichrist people on your ass or on your back when you try to live right, you have to first burst through the restrictions and the false standards that are set by your religious sect. Because like I said, I used to follow all the Rasta teachings, well, most of them to a T, but then I realized that so many of them that they were teaching me, it wasn't necessary. Like the Rastas were saying, we shouldn't eat anything that grow on a vine. Don't eat no foods that grow. So that means no grapes. We're not supposed to eat no grapes. We're not supposed to eat or anything that, did they say grow under the ground? They say we're not supposed to eat anything on a vine and anything that grow underground. These were the rules that they had me living by. So that means no sweet potato, no white potato. We're not supposed to have no peanuts. You know, all them good things that grow under the ground, and no grapes. And certain peas and beans, we're not supposed to have them because they grow up. Like that didn't make no sense to me. But I lived it for a while because if I'm trying to live for God, and if you people know the way and you're showing me the way and this is the way, I'm gonna try it. But then I started to see cracks in these people's own personalities because they would treat other people in such an unsavory, ungodly way. It's like, if that's how you are, I'm giving you way too much credit because that's not godly. There used to be this girl that was walking around with like her pum pum shots, and they used to cuss this girl and call her a harlot and all these kind of things. And I used to sit by and listen to them, and it's like, that's not godly. That's not godly at all. Rastaman going on like that, that's how God teaches you to behave. I respect you all. I love what y'all have been doing for me, teaching me the ways of Rastafari and that. But that part there, that's blatantly bullshit to me. That's not godly. And I had enough sense to decide for myself that no matter how somebody dress, you don't have no right to disrespect them like that. Just because she wear pum pum shots, you want to call the girl a harlot. What you know about her? Opening their mouth and spewing obscenities at this girl. I never agreed with that. And from the time I saw them doing shit like that, I knew that I had to take back my own power. It's like, if y'all are wrong about that, what else are y'all wrong about? That's where they fucked up with me. Because if they were trying to brainwash me, that shit, it didn't sit well with me. You don't treat people like that. If you're trying to get people to change their life and live for God, that is not the way to do it. God is not here to condemn. Especially the Bible says, render your heart and not your garments. Render your heart and not your garments. As far as I can see, she's more godly than you because she ain't disrespecting you, but you're disrespecting her, and you're supposed to be the men of God. You are the Rastas, and you talk to God children like that because she wear some short shorts. That's not justified. That's not godly. And when I saw them do that, I knew I had to start to define this Rasta thing for myself. Because clearly these people can't lead me. They fucked up right there. They had me locked in, but they fucked up with that one. You don't treat people like that. That's not love. God is love. God is love. If how you're moving is contrary to that, I question your godhood. So people who have a problem with you questioning things in the Bible and questioning the head spiritual person, whether it's a preacher or a high priest or high priestess or whatever, if they got a problem with you asking certain questions, and that's not godly, because God wants you to understand, not just believe. That's why they have Bible study. You should be able to ask spiritual questions, and these leaders, if they don't know, they're obligated to say, I do not know. If they're truly men and women of God, they will say, I don't know. They won't get an attitude because they want to keep this high and mighty image, like they know everything. Nobody knows everything. They're all learning just like me and you. I've been practicing this religion or walking this walk since 2000 and about 2000, no, it's 1997. Sorry, 1997. Since 1997, I've been on my spiritual walk, like consciously trying to live for God. Not just being a good person, but actually consciously seeking God and trying to understand how God wants me to live since 1997. And there is still so much that I don't know. And now it's 2026. So that's 26 plus 3, that's 29 years of walking with God. And still there's so much that I don't know. And I'm a person who walk with God. I don't pretend. I don't pretend. And I don't hide who I am. I don't care who want to judge me and who don't want to judge me. Only God can judge me. Only God can judge you. You have to allow other people's words to penetrate your mind for them to be able to affect you. But God say, my sheep know the voice of the shepherd. They're not your shepherd, are they your shepherd? Who is your shepherd? Who is your shepherd? Because I could guarantee you, your imam, your preacher, your high priest, if you're a Rastafarian, your Shaolin master, whatever kind of master, if you're a Buddhist, what they call it, the Dalai Lama, they are learning spirituality. They are still on a journey of learning and developing. And I'm sure they see flaws within the teachings that they even teach people. This is why you have to use your own discernment. Don't just take what these people are saying to you because of their high titles and their high status in the religious sect that you're in support of. Don't just take their word for it. Make sure you understand. Because at the end of the day, God is going to credit or discredit you on what you understand. And you cannot willingly reject trying to understand something and think that you won't be held accountable. God saw you when you were trying to dodge understanding it. That you will be held accountable for. So don't try to get clever. God knows our heart. You cannot stop yourself from knowing. You cannot stop yourself from hearing. You cannot stop yourself from seeing, psychologically seeing You can't stop yourself from seeing. You can't stop yourself from understanding. Once it's in there, and you will be held accountable. So you could try and lie to yourself as much as you want to, but God already know what you know. God gonna say you knew better, and God gonna judge you based off of that. Thy wisdom come, thy kingdom come. Wisdom comes to you just as much. If you don't go seek wisdom, wisdom gonna come to you when wisdom ready for you. If Muhammad won't go to the mountain comes to Muhammad. So Muhammad has a choice. What are you gonna do, Muhammad? God is giving you an opportunity to choose to walk this path or this path. What are you going to do, Muhammad? You gonna walk this path or this path? Now you can't say you didn't know, because wisdom was ready for you. Thy wisdom come. Life is ready to give you a test of character. It's not test of knowledge. It's a test of character. Who are you? And it's not for God to get to know you. It's for you to get to know yourself. When God tests us, it's not because God wants to get to know us. God already knows us. God wants us to get to see and know ourselves. Because a lot of us don't know ourselves. We just be. We just are who we are. But it's important for us to know. It is important for us to know ourselves. The responsible thing to do is to get to know yourself. And if you don't have strength to walk on the straight and narrow, you ask for strength. That's what prayer is for. If you want to try and do it with whatever reserves of strength you have, fine. But when you run out, ask for some more. Because I know, I will be honest with you. We are not the powerhouse. God is the powerhouse. Any strength and wisdom that we got, God already put it in there. We be thinking it's ours. It's not ours. But we being human and thinking we're somebody, or we're more than, thinking that we're more than we are, we be wanting to feel like we doing something in it. So we would refrain from praying. Me, I'm talking about me. I would refrain from praying because it's like, I want to do this myself without prayer. I don't want to bother God. And it's like, I feel like I could do this. But I've grown to understand that even the power that I think I have is reserved from the last time I prayed for strength or courage or understanding. You know what I'm saying? We have to refill our cup, Rev. We need to pray to get our cup refilled. Anything that we got within us, God put it in there. Any good thing there is about us, God put it in there. Whether we use it for good or evil, God put it in there. Because as I said to these magic people, when you go and you summon demons or deities to do magic spells for you, those demons or deities, how many other middlemen or middlewomen there are, it leads right back to God. The one at the top communes with God. So God is the grantor of all wishes, because there is only God. There is no devil. There's devilish behavior, but there is no devil. We are the devils when we choose to be naughty. There is no actual devil that's in competition with God, except for the people who are around us trying to lead us astray. Those are the devils. And hell is the result of us following their commands. So if you're living a life because of their teachings or advice, If you follow the advice of the devils around you and you end up sad, or you end up experiencing loss, you end up confused, you end up losing loved ones that you had no intention to lose as a result of giving life to these choices and this advice, that's hell. There is no physical hell under the earth where you're burning for all eternity. You burn in your brain and in your heart and in your soul. Brokenheartedness, that's hell. That's the fire that you burn in. Regrets, that's hell. That's the fire that you burn in. Guilty conscience, that's hell. That's the fire that you be burning in. We don't have to wait until we die to experience judgment. Judgment is right here, right now. Heaven is the total opposite of all those negative emotions and negative states of being. That's what heaven and hell actually is. That's what heaven and hell is. You make bad choices, you suffer the bad consequences. You created hell for yourself. You make good choices, you enjoy a little slice of heaven on earth. Because the good that you do comes back to you. The bad that you do, that comes back to you too. So if your life is hell right now, it's because you've been choosing hell. If your life feel like heaven right now, even though it's not perfect and how you want it to be, it's because you've been choosing heaven. We need to stop allowing these people to deceive us. When you die, what happens when you die? You don't go to heaven or hell. You already been living, or you already been living in heaven or living in hell. Your soul's journey continues when you die. Some people, they reincarnate into another body. They become a baby again so that they can have another choice, another chance. Another chance at what? Getting life right. That's what we're here to do. So if you keep dying and having a rebirth and dying and having a rebirth and you come and do the same stupid shit, you'll never elevate. You'll never get to mastery. You don't know what comes in the future. Yeah, listen to what they say in the Bible. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. What does that mean? Emmanuel is the Son of God. Emmanuel, also known as Jesus. Okay? I can't speak for other religions because I'm not well versed in those other religions. Okay? So fit the pieces how they fit into your religion. But the master teacher, Jesus, the representative, the one without blemish, God took on flesh and walked amongst us to teach us and show us the way. That's why Jesus, aka Emmanuel, aka Jesus, said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Okay? When you see Emmanuel, you see God. Because Emmanuel is God on earth, the representation. Right? God sent Emmanuel to teach us the way. Show those of us who care to know the truth. And whosoever believeth in him and the things that he came to teach us, we shall have everlasting life. What is everlasting life? We already have life. So to have everlasting life means you don't die. Crazy, huh? It means you don't die. You're already alive. How are you going to die to have everlasting life? You're already alive. The wages of sin is death. Not the wages of doing right. We read the scripture and we don't understand it. And it's so plain right there in front of our face. And so many people believe in death. Death is not natural. If you're living for God, God will keep you away from death. That's how in Genesis 11:11, when we read about Shem had his first child at 530 years old. His first youth at 530 years old. 530. We today are having children at 14 and 15 and 16 and 19 and 20. And then we comfortably die at 100 thinking, oh, it's all over for me. This is as far as the human lifespan goes. The Bible said Shem had his first child at 5. The Bible said Shem had his first child at 530 years old. His second at 903. 900 years. That was normal. The Bible said that. The Jesus Bible in the Old Testament, Genesis 11:11. Go look it up. Is that a lie? Is that bullshit? Those who live for God, and Shem was the son of Noah, and Noah was a man of God. So Noah taught his children to be children of God. Noah taught his children to serve God, and they had everlasting life. They lasted for a very long time. As long as they kept holding on to God and God's principles, they will stay alive. When they want to act like idiots, then God have to delete them and tell them start over. Death and rebirth is not a necessity. It is a punishment. So me reincarnating from my Nefertiti body back in God knows when, I did something bad. I did something very naughty. That's why I died then. But I've been granted a rebirth now. So I get to do over my growth in God. That's the ultimate objective. So imagine man like Ptah, the Egyptian god Ptah that's been, I'm guessing he's been alive for all these years. Imagine how many crimes against God he's committed. And if he's been alive for thousands of years, one day he will experience death. Just like God said to all the other fallen angels. If you caught that reading on this channel, God told the fallen angels, y'all are going to taste death because y'all are getting on God's last nerve. You're using the power of God to do all manner of evil. The wages of sin is death. So although God's going to give them life again, God is going to finish them, delete them, and make them start over. The wages of sin is death. The gift of God is life. Not dying to live in some spiritual, whatever y'all think it is, some spiritual existence. God created the heaven and the earth and the seas for our enjoyment. It's a gift to us. And all the animals and the trees and every mineral and everything else on it. The human life experience is a gift. There's so much to do and so much to learn. This is the gift. Those who feel drawn to the afterlife, you are drawn to the afterlife because that's what your gift is. That's your position. But many of us have not been called to the afterlife. Man like, not Osiris, Anubis, man like Anubis. Anubis is called to be like a gatekeeper of the afterlife. Kind of like a counselor. He helped people to transition from your old life into whatever comes after when you've experienced death because of your sin. Yeah, he's been called to that point, to that post. Some of us here have been called to the post of afterlife. But Anubis is still here. A lot of the Egyptian gods and goddesses, they're still around. Maybe reborn, but they're still around in different form. A lot of the angels, you hear them talking about people that's been alive for ages and they don't age and they don't this and these are the angels. God sent them here to help us. That's why they don't age. Not all of them have had plastic surgery, but a lot of them hide the fact that they have everlasting life because they need to keep up the charade to fool the rest of us. But we are all entitled to that long life that these angels get to enjoy. And me sharing these type of secrets with y'all is the reason why they want to shut me up and kill me. Because them having all this access to all this knowledge and long life and experiencing all these experiences and seeing all these civilizations rise and fall and doing, just living on the earth and experiencing the earth and all its glory and shit like that, they want it for themselves. It makes them feel special that they get to enjoy it and we don't. This is antichrist behavior. Selfishness, greed, one of the 7 deadly sins. One of the 7 deadly sins. And for that, God said, you will taste death. You will taste death. You will taste death. Since I sent you to help the humans, and you're using the gift of life to do all type of debauchery, reprobate lifestyle you come down here and fall in love with, and then you suffer the same humans that I sent you here to take care of, I'm going to finish you. You will taste death. So all the thousands of years that these angels been alive for, they're about to start over, bruv. What a dishonor. But they've dishonored themselves, and they've dishonored God. They've dishonored us. It's only fair. So the kind of reasoning that I come on here and I talk about, this is the reason why people get scared when I come on. This is why I don't mind not coming on every day. Because as much as I try to make these readings light and, you know, unicorns and rainbows, it never goes like that. Even when I try to do a love reading, it comes out highly psychological. Because God know that we need help. We need to get our minds right. We need to be able to see the way, the truth, and the life. Because the people perish without knowledge. And if I'm going to come on here with my bold self about what God want to tell us and what God want to talk about, this is why my readings come out how they come out. This is what God wanted to say to us. This is what God really wants us to know. These are things that God really wants us to know. Because the people perish for lack of knowledge. So you can't say you didn't know. If you don't want to get wise, don't come to this channel. But then if you avoid this channel, God know that you've been trying to avoid getting wise. So I don't know how that will go for you when it comes to from a legal perspective. When it comes to the spiritual courts, are you gonna be held liable for that? I don't know. I don't know. It's like that. But I mean, if you're not ready for growth, to be honest with you, I feel like if you're not ready for growth, you should be allowed to slow down your growth. But there comes a time where you run out of slow down growth cards and you have to face the growth head on. But I believe that God does offer us some grace because this should be heavy. The type of stuff that I come and talk about, it is heavy. Okay? It changes the world in a positive way, and not everybody's ready for that because it also brings about upheaval first. I know the power I have. I've been made aware. How my boobs look under there. Look, all right, still in it. I got one small boob and one big boob. I have cleavage, y'all. I got cleavage. But yeah, back to the reasoning. Yeah, man, it should be heavy. So I feel like if you're not ready to learn certain things, if you're not ready to go through certain levels of growth, you should be able to like stall it. I feel so. Because God is a fair God. God is a just God. And God knows that this shit is hard and it's heavy. Okay? Being a spiritual woman and a spiritual man is a heavy load to bear. Carrying the light is a heavy load to bear. Especially in this world where so many people promote darkness and they support the darkness because they think that it's the only way right now that works for them. God has to shut the shit down. And that's what's been happening. So the earthquakes that happened in Venezuela, I found out that it's Venezuela's port. It's like a commercial district where they do a lot of trade and stuff like that. Could you imagine? And it makes sense to me because how much corruption is in those places. The cities are usually the most corrupted of all places because that's where all the thieves congregate. That's where all the horrible plans are devised and executed. You know, there's sin there en masse. So I think it would be safe to assume that Sodom and Gomorrah was like a city. A lie. And look at this. In Jamaica, Port Royal, that was another place that's a commercial place. God sink the whole thing underwater because there's so much corruption. Because these motherfuckers don't just uh they don't just trade and steal people's money, they be stealing people. They steal people, they traffic people and send them out on the boats and across the seas and shit like that. God knows what was happening in Venezuela. And nobody can tell me anything different. And that's why God shut down Venezuela. Because the wages of sin is death. And look how merciful God is. I heard that on that day it was a national holiday. So there was hardly any people in the offices at that time. That's God showing mercy to those who could have been victims of those earthquakes when those buildings were crumbling to the ground. And I told you people that God is ready to clean this shit up. God, look how many buildings God wrecked. Look at the amount of damage that God did. God said y'all need to rip this shit down and rebuild it properly. I dare you to go build some wicked, evil shit like you did again. I'm gonna rip it down again, God said. Y'all need to read the signs. A lot of people in Venezuela, their lives were spared because they were at home, it being a national holiday. Instead of being in the commercial district, a lot of them were at home. Or else there would have been a heck of a lot more deaths. Have you seen how those buildings crumbled to the ground? And y'all want to play with God. And then y'all want to say that there is no God. So if God, okay, let's scratch that part. If these earthquakes took place on a day out of many where you would have otherwise been in the commercial district operating and doing business. If it's not God who made it happen on those days, what the fuck was it? Y'all want to try and tell me that it's man-made earthquake and all type of fuckery. Fuck that. You can fool yourselves into thinking so. That's God talking to you people. All of you high priest and high priestess who have the power to tap into the realms, y'all need to tell the people the truth. Y'all need to do readings and shit like this and tell the people and make them know, say, and God do that. That's not a man-made earthquake. Two of them, twin earthquake, or one right behind the other. And then they try come in and correct themselves and say, oh no, it was one major earthquake. Lies. Why is the lie necessary? Why is it important for y'all to make people believe it was one earthquake instead of two? Y'all need to pay attention, you know. This is spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare. God is trying to combat spiritual wickedness in high and low places. God is communicating with these people because these people would not listen. Who can't hear gonna have to feel. Just imagine how the destruction in Venezuela has disrupted businesses. How many people now don't have a job? What's gonna happen to their financial status? How are they gonna pay their rent? So that's going to affect the renters. Do you understand what I'm saying? All the shops that are used to providing goods and services to these people, their businesses are getting disrupted too. God said, I'm gonna shut this whole shit down if y'all don't listen to me. God sent 2 earthquakes, one after the other. Like, can you hear me now? Babylon themselves wouldn't do as much destruction as was done in Venezuela because they love money too much. If they have the power to create them type of earthquake there. Do they even have the power to create that type of earthquake? We need to separate the fact from the fiction. Where are the high priest and the high priestesses with the ability to tap into the heavens? Where are you? Where is your voice in the midst of all this? Don't ask me. I don't feel called. I do not feel called to do a reading or dig into this. If I felt called, I would have. It is my responsibility to follow my divine calling. I do not feel drawn to do a reading on this. Those who do feel drawn to do a reading on this, you need to get up and do what you got to do. I'm not here to do everything. It's not a competition, it's a mission. I do not care to sit in anybody else's throne. I like mine too much. Put your backside in your throne, please, and do your work. Hopefully I can get to see. Because I want to know what the fuck is going on too. What is God trying to tell us with them 2 earthquakes? I'm feeling a goddess energy. There's a woman out there who's supposed to be doing readings on these matters. Everything to do with weather. That's your duty. If I'm talking to you, you feel what I'm saying to you right now. You have been called. You have divine authority. You have a badge. You have the access codes to get that information and relate to we the people. You have authority to get that information. Access the Akashic records and get that information. And say, thus saith the Lord, concerning the 2 earthquakes in Venezuela that destroyed the commercial district to smithereens. Okay, that's my language. You can use your own language, but yeah, that's your role. I know you feel it. If you're afraid, then God might just have to take your gift away and give it to somebody else. You gotta be a light worker sometimes. You gotta do it when you like your work and when you don't like it. You gotta be that come what may. Yeah, that's why we pray. If you're afraid, pray for courage. If you're confused, pray for clarity. We don't have no excuse because God got everything that we need. Ask. We work for God. What corporation do we work for? God Corporation. All light beings. All high priestess and high priests. All oracles. All healers. What corporation do we work for? We work for God. That's why we have the power to do what we do. We can only keep our gifts if we use them for God's work. Or else you can go and form your own company. with your limited power if you won't do God's work. It's only fair. If you're gonna do God's work, God gonna share its power with you. God gonna share its intelligence with you. God's gonna share its courage with you. God's gonna share its authority with you because you're working for God. But if you're not working for your God and you're working for yourself, then you can go and farm your own company on your limited resources because you're too afraid to represent God in this ungodly planet. God knows it's hard, but it's not impossible because we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. If you want the best of the best, you have to put out the best of the best. It's simple as that. Fair trade. Okay. Shit. I intended to read cards, but God had other plans. Clearly. All right. So that brings me to the end of this video. I feel like I've shared everything that God wants me to share up to this point. Until next time, I'm gonna let you go now. Yes. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope that the information that you heard here was useful to you and it helped to clarify some things in your mind. Okay? God didn't come for the righteous, God came for the sinners. They need us. We need to be in this world, just not of it. Okay? Be true to yourself. If you like the occasional drink, you never know who God might make. The reason why you like the occasional drink is there's probably a sinner who's trying to change, who frequents that establishment, and you being in your godhood to a higher degree than them, God wanted to share an experience between you and that person so that they can see shit. They drink, you drink, but you got a lot more God in you than they do. So if you have that much God in you, then that means they can do it too. Be in the world. It's necessary that we be in the world. And I'm here looking like a Jezebel, but being far from. I am far from a Jezebel. I am not a Jezebel. I only look like one. I'm only sexy like one. See, Jezebel would have gladly open up and show you all her personal glory. I am not here to show you my personal glory. My personal glory is for my husband. You see these nipples? That's about as far as I would go with my husband's personal glory. Yeah, I look like a Jezebel, but I talk like a goddess. Hello. Yeah, man, you rope them in with the packaging, and then you just give them a dose of God. They're like, what? I never expected to hear you talking like this. I never expected that you would be this type of person. Yeah, bitch, stop judging a book by the bumble clock cover. Stop judging the book by the cover. Just because I swear and I like to smoke cigarettes and I dress like a Jezebel occasionally, it doesn't mean that I'm a Jezebel, yo. I know better than to be a Jezebel. God gave me more power than for me to have to resort to my Jezebel energy to survive. I don't have to lie to anybody and cheat nobody and kill nobody and trick nobody and steal from nobody to survive. Hello, I'm very gifted. I have options as to the type of profession I could go into and make a living if Babylon would get out of my way. See, Babylon don't want to get out of my way, but it's cool. One of these days, God will move them and they won't have a choice. But I'm very gifted. I don't have to dress like this to capture y'all attention, but it's very effective. And I like it. It's abnormal, but it's me. You know, it's very liberating for me. That's my vibe. Well, I have many different vibes, but this is one of them. I like it. I like it a lot. It must be the Egyptian in me. Anywho, what I say, you could take the how you go? You can take the pig out this tie and put it in a palace, but it's still a pig. So you can take the queen out to Egypt and put her in a Babylon, but she's still a queen. Still a queen with a lot of her Egyptian traits. Because that's my roots. It feels right. The way I dress, it feels right, bro. That's why they wrap up so much cloth around them. It's easy living, man. And it looks good too, as long as shit. It looks good. Look at it. It's just a piece of cloth. I chopped the shirt. It's a shirt. The shirt was too boring. So I cut the shirt and make this little tiny piece. Then I tied it here. And this here have a rubber band around it. Because look, just look at it. You know? It's not boring. It's not the norm. You know? And then this is just a piece of cloth. I stick a safety pin here and stick a safety pin here. And let me show you my outfit. I'm a woman of Egypt, bro. You can take the woman out to Egypt, but you can't take Egypt out the woman. It just makes sense, bro. That's why you see the hieroglyphs on the wall. They're all dressed like this because the shit makes sense. Okay? Anywho, that's why I'm a woman of the sun. Yeah. I don't belong in England and them places, but God got me here. It's not my choice to be in these places. I prefer to be in a Caribbean country or in Africa or something somewhere. That's my personal choice. But I gotta go with what nature has planned for me until I can get what I want. You see, when my desire and nature's desire come into alignment, then I gonna get what I want. But for right now, I am here to serve the Lord's purpose. And God say, I want you in the UK. So I am here in the UK doing what God has called me to do all night and all day. And having fun while I work and while I play. Dum dum dee day. Nah, let me stop. All right, my guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me, for real. Until next time, my loves, please. It's a personal relationship with God. Stop make people define God for you, because then you find God boring, and God is anything but boring. You see me? Look how much of a godly woman I am, and look how rebellious, quote unquote, they would call me. They would call me an abomination, but I don't give a fuck. Okay? Because I'm making more of a positive difference in society than a lot of them who would speak down on me. Okay? God holds me in high regard more than God regard a lot of them. Okay? Because they speak peace and in their heart is nothing but war. With me, what you see is what you get. If you like me, you like me. If you don't like me, you don't like me. But one thing you can't say is that I'm being fake. I'm speaking the truth to the best of my ability. And I'm being as authentic as I can when it comes to who God showed me I am. And that's the best that I could do in God's kingdom. Because I love who I am. I can try and sound so and whine me body this way and whine me body that way. And what does it do? It helps to make me healthy. It helps to get rid of digestive problems. It helped me fart, get rid of the gas out of my belly and all these things. Life You need to pay attention to what life really is and stop listening to what people telling you it is. Let God tell you if you're doing something wrong. Let your God tell you if you're doing something wrong. Okay? Stop making people put all these restrictions on life for you and telling you that's how to live the religion or that's how to live a godly life. Let God tell you what your godly life look like. And if they can't hack it, you must be willing to let them go. Because it is more important that you serve God and listen to God's voice than to listen to the people around you. Respect the people around you, but your life is yours to live. And God is our master. Or else whoever you allow to speak into your life, they are your master. Right. Take care.